Hi, and welcome to today's webinar. Today we'll be talking about how to leverage your midlife crisis to move forward in your life without blowing up your life and career and hurting the people you care about. My name is Kirsten Bunch, and I've been working as a certified life and career coach since 2016 in the United States and Europe, helping hundreds of people evolve into lives and careers that excite and energize them. So now, when we hear the term midlife crisis, images of corvettes and affairs and dark hotel rooms come to mind. Of course, those are stereotypes, but the truth is, midlife can be a time of great confusion and stagnation. 1 in 3 people will experience a midlife crisis in their 40s and early 50s. And midlife crisis can result in a wide range of behaviors. I've had clients come to me seeking help after blowing up successful careers, spending all their savings on a fancy car or facelift, and walking out of loving long-term relationships. Unfortunately, all of those things were band-aids and really didn't help much in the long term. As a queer woman, I typically work with members of the LGBTQ plus community and, of course, our allies. And in working with clients from around the world, I've noticed that many of us struggle with making sense of what it means to be queer in midlife. Of course, we aren't strangers to the feeling of being othered in a heteronormative society. And unfortunately, that othering stays with us throughout our lives, including in midlife. And it can make a midlife crisis even more confusing and stressful. And that's why it's important to find a supportive community that will empathize with you in what you are experiencing. I've also discovered that in working with clients, that the first step in finding happiness and purpose in our 40s and 50s is to take time to reflect on where you've been so that you can discover where you want to go. And this includes taking a look at the old stories you're telling yourself about your life and creating new stories that reflect the future you want to have. And I've also learned that through hundreds of hours of coaching, that the best way to ensure that the new story you create for yourself is going to lead to success, happiness, and healthy relationships is for you to quiet the thoughts and beliefs that keep you in a place of fear and stagnation, and turn up the volume on the thoughts and beliefs that tell you your dreams are valid and attainable. So today I'm going to explain step by step how you can move beyond your midlife crisis and into happiness and clarity by strengthening the 3 core muscles of mental fitness. This is what we're going to be talking about today. So just to give you an idea of what I'm going to be talking about in more detail, here's exactly what you're going to learn from this webinar. You'll learn exactly what you need to do, step by step, to turn your midlife crisis into an opportunity. You'll learn about the neuroscience-backed reasons for your midlife crisis, and you'll get access to an important assessment tool to improve your mental fitness. I'm also going to share a lot of information here that you can take away and start applying to your life. So if you want to learn more about how you can get help with your midlife crisis, at the end of the webinar, I will share how you can build on what you will learn today to create a life that you're excited about and that energizes you. And I also have a special offer that you can use for yourself, or you can share it with your friends. So let's jump right in. Okay, so at the heart of a midlife crisis for most of us is the desire for some dramatic change that will jack up the excitement. And that makes sense, right? Like we've spent our 20s and 30s building our lives and careers. We've accomplished a lot of our goals. And the reality is, most of us crave new goals. Unfortunately, there is a change in our brain chemistry that happens in midlife that makes our brains less able to learn, change, and adapt. So, just when we reach a point in our lives where we're ready for new goals, our brains start trying even harder to keep us in what we are familiar with. So how do our brains do this? By filling our heads with negative thoughts, like I'm going to fail if I try to switch careers. I'll lose everything if I come out. My partner will leave me if I share how I really feel. Blah, 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 blah. These thoughts are our brain's way of keeping us safe. And unfortunately, what we call the survivor part of our brain can be extremely dramatic and over exaggerates danger. And it tunes out the part of our brain that allows us to be empathetic and curious and innovative and to take bold-hearted action. So, what can you do about this brain that is keeping us in negative thoughts? How can you turn the crisis that your survivor brain is creating into an opportunity to create the future you dream of? You can improve your mental fitness. Mental fitness is your capacity to respond to life's challenges with a positive rather than a negative mindset. And being mentally fit is important at any stage of life, but even more important as we get older and our brain wants to keep us in our comfort zone through fear-based thoughts. Think about it this way. If you are of average physical fitness and you try to climb a small hill, you'll be able to do it, right? But if you put a big steep mountain in front of you and you are not physically fit enough, you'd feel physical stress as you climb that steep hill. And let's face it, many of us encounter mountains in midlife. Your mountain might be losing a job or having a health problem. And combine that with the pressure society and the workforce puts on us around age and the othering that happens as LGBTQ throughout our lives, and that mountain becomes pretty darn steep. So the question isn't, how can I prevent big mountains from coming? They are going to come, whether at work or in your personal life. That is simply a fact of life. The question is, how do you become mentally fit enough to handle those challenges in a way where you leverage positive emotions like happiness, curiosity, and empathy instead of feeling stuck, sad, or frustrated? And when you are mentally fit, what happens when those big mountains come? You get excited about the mountain instead of getting stressed out about it. Mental fitness impacts your performance. It impacts your relationships and also your overall well-being, peace, and happiness. So, how do you become mentally fit? By strengthening the three core muscles of mental fitness. Shirzad Chamine, the New York Times bestselling author of Positive Intelligence, and his team of researchers discovered that there are three core muscles of mental fitness. And he tested his theory out on hundreds of corporate and government leaders, students, and athletes. And Shirzad and his team were able to create the positive, intelligent mental fitness model that allows you to use these three core muscles to effectively and positively work your way through the changes you encounter in life. And the three core muscles are the saboteur interceptor muscle, the sage muscle, and the self-command muscle. And of course, I am going to break these down for you. So the saboteur interceptor muscle is just what it sounds like, a muscle that intercepts and quiets those pesky saboteur thoughts. Your saboteurs live in your brainstem, limbic system, and parts of the left brain, and they motivate you through emotions like fear, stress, anger, guilt, shame, insecurity. There are 10 saboteurs in total, and the chief saboteur is called the judge, and we all have this saboteur. Our judge finds fault in ourselves, others, and circumstances, and loves to think things like, what is wrong with me? What the heck is wrong with you? And what is wrong with my circumstance or this outcome? Then there are 9 accomplice saboteurs, and each of us has a different combination of the accomplice saboteurs that conspire with our judge to help keep us in a negative mindset. And typically we have 2 or 3 top saboteurs that are the most dominant. And each accomplice saboteur has a unique set of characteristics and lies that it tells us. For example, the stickler saboteur tells us that if you can't do something perfectly the right way, then you shouldn't do it at all. And someone with a strong stickler saboteur experiencing a midlife career crisis, for example, can easily stay stuck in a never-ending job search because she has an idea of what the perfect job will look like, but unfortunately no job ever lives up to that image of the perfect job. And before she knows it, 5 years have gone by and she's still in a career that she hates. Oh, and I will share the link with you in a follow-up email of where you can take the Saboteur Assessment if you're curious what saboteurs are strongest in you. So I want to pause for a moment and talk about emotions. Are negative emotions good for you? Well, think about it. Think about it like this. Think about putting your hand on a hot stove. Is the pain good for you? Yes, it tells you that your skin is burning. Should you keep your hand on the hot stove? No, you want to take your hand off the hot stove as quickly as possible. So I'm not saying that any emotion is wrong. All emotions are important indicators for us that something is going on. Negative emotions like anger, anxiety, sadness are all indicators that something is hurting us. And what mental fitness teaches us is that we have a choice to leave our hand on the stove, like stay angry, anxious, frustrated, or take our hand off the stove so we can move into more positive emotions that serve us better. So then the second muscle of mental fitness is the sage muscle. Oops. The sage lives in the region of the brain associated with positive emotions, peace and calm, clear-headed focus, creativity, big picture thinking. And the sage operates from the sage perspective. And the sage perspective is that every outcome or circumstance can be turned into a gift and opportunity. And to be clear, this does not mean that you have to condone what happened. It also doesn't mean that if you're feeling upset about what happened, that what you were feeling is wrong. You are simply making a choice to take your hand off the hot stove and switch into a sage perspective. So while your saboteur is saying, poor me, I'm stuck in this boring life, I can't change it because I am too old. This is horrible. Your sage would say, okay, looks like my life feels pretty boring right now. How can I turn this boring life into a gift and opportunity that I can leverage to go after the life I want? So, little story for you here. I had a client who was super, super successful in her career. She had reached the C-suite and was making buckets and buckets of money, and everything seemed great to her colleagues and family. There was just one big problem. My client was miserable because she had to hide her real self every day. And she wasn't out at work and was really tired of hiding. But her saboteurs told her that if she came out at work, she would lose her job, her career, and the professional relationship she had worked so hard for years to develop. So, what did we do? We worked together to find the gift in her situation. One gift was that because she was only out with her close friends, she had a really strong, meaningful support system that ultimately helped her discover the strength to come out at work. And I'll see another gift that my client discovered was that she came out and so that if she came out and lost her job, she would be able to launch the business that she had been dreaming of starting for years. And in the end, that business is what she really wanted to do anyway. So the truth is that your saboteur might generate security by keeping you in a life that's safe and comfortable, but unfulfilling. But your sage wants you to be who you were born to be, even if that means taking risks. And if there is no greater gift than being in midlife, it's that we are finally discovering who we were born to be. So it is your choice who you're going to listen to. And it's really important in your 40s and 50s as your brain begins to change to be intentional about the choice of who you are going to listen to. So, how do you switch from saboteur mode to sage mode? You do this by using the third muscle of mental fitness, which is the self-command muscle. So we use the self-command muscle to pause the negative swirling thoughts of the saboteur so we can access our sage, like giving your saboteur a timeout. And how we do this is we use what we call in mental fitness and positive intelligence PQ reps. And PQ reps allow us to change the part of the brain we're accessing. And just 30 seconds of PQ reps can help you shift from saboteur's perspective to sage perspective. If you're familiar with mindfulness and meditation, this will sound familiar. The difference is that you can do PQ reps and get the benefits while sitting in a meeting, on a call, or playing with your dog. You don't have to go and find a quiet place to meditate for 20 minutes. So here's a little demo of how this works, how PQ reps work, right? So, so think of something that is upsetting you today. Maybe you're bored with a project at work because you've done it 300 times, or maybe your Wi-Fi is being wonky. Pause the video if you need more time to think of something. Now, close your eyes. I want you to rub the tip of your index finger against the tip of your thumb on the same hand and feel all the sensations there. For some reason that's not possible for you to do, you can really use any part of your body. You can even use the tongue and the roof of your mouth. So just feel all the ridges on one finger. Now feel all the ridges on the other. Now rub the fingertips of one hand on the palm of the other hand and feel all of those sensations. Focus on the sensations of what you feel. Now open your eyes. What is the gift and opportunity you can find in the thing that is upsetting you today? And here's a hint. It doesn't have to be directly related. For example, if you're bored at work, the gift might be that you can listen to a podcast about starting a side hustle while working on your project, since you don't need to focus on the project as much. The gift in your wonky Wi-Fi is that you can get a refreshing change of scenery by going to a co-working space to work. So what do you notice by focusing on the gift instead of the problem? Do you feel lighter, more expansive, more creative? Like there are slightly more possibilities in the world than there were a minute ago? So what did you just do? You switch from using the part of your brain your saboteurs use to motivate you or demotivate you through fear-based emotions to the part of your brain your sage uses to motivate you through curiosity and other positive emotions. Okay, so let's review. There are three core muscles of mental fitness. Your saboteur interceptor muscle quiets the lies your saboteur tells you about yourself and others and whatever situation you might be in. And your sage muscle motivates you to take action through emotions like empathy, curiosity, innovation, and purpose. You move from the saboteur to the sage by focusing on a sensation or sensations in your body. This brings you into the present moment where saboteurs can't reach you. And once you've paused the saboteur thoughts, you move into sage mode using the sage perspective. And everything can be turned into a gift or opportunity. Or you also can use one of the 5 sage powers. And keep this in mind, your saboteurs might generate success. Remember my very successful client, but will not generate happiness. Alternatively, your sage is your biggest fan and wants the best for you. Your sage wants you to be happy. So when you are feeling confused, stuck, frustrated, or whatever emotion might be part of your midlife experience, here's what you can do. If you are feeling negative emotions, something that is causing you pain, stop. You are in saboteur mode and you are acting from a place of fear. Move out of your head and into your body to quiet the saboteurs and activate sage by doing PQ reps. Assume the sage perspective that every problem can be converted into a gift and opportunity. I find it's helpful to write out a list to solidify those gifts and opportunities, especially when I'm thinking there aren't any. It definitely helps just to sit and write them down and see what you come up with. So now the question I get asked the most is it really possible to use mental fitness to help climb out of my midlife crisis? Yes, but the speed and depth of your climb depends on your mental muscle strength. Lasting positive change requires 80% mental muscle, and it takes time and practice to build that muscle. So here's what I've learned through hundreds of hours of coaching people through a midlife crisis. If you are in the midst of a midlife crisis, chances are it didn't start overnight. You have been adding layers to your saboteur stories for months or even years, and it requires intense, dedicated initial practice in a supportive environment to climb out of that saboteur mode. Now, if you are curious about how you can use mental fitness to help you figure out what you want out of your life, check out our Midlife Mindset Makeover program. It is an 8-week program. It is a queer-centric program designed to help you rediscover what makes you feel alive and also to quiet the thorny thoughts that keep you feeling lost, stuck, and dissatisfied. And remember, if you're tired of feeling stuck and unsatisfied with your life, the first step is to get your mindset in order. And as you can see, it's not as hard as you think, but it does take a commitment to getting back on track. Our goal with the Midlife Mindset Makeover is to give you the tools to access your sage and use empathy, curiosity, innovation, and bold action to help you create the life you want. You'll learn how your judge and accomplice saboteurs keep you in a state of fear and stagnation, and you'll learn how to counteract your saboteurs using the 5 powers of the sage. The program is designed from a queer point of view to help you rediscover what makes you feel alive and get rid of the thoughts that make you feel self-doubt, aimless, or concerned about how you fit into a heteronormative society. So, this program is for you if you are, among other things, confused about how to create a career in life that makes you happy. Realizing you want to come out as LGBTQ, but you're not quite sure how to do it, or you're afraid. Tired of playing the straight game at work to fit in, even in an inclusive environment. Or feeling like you simply want to live life on your own terms and be who you are born to be. Joining the Midlife Mindset Makeover program will help you quiet the self-sabotaging thoughts and realize who you were really meant to be. And for you, that might mean reinventing your career or getting clearer about what you want out of your romantic life. It also might mean deciding what personal wellness means to you and making a plan to make it happen. The possibilities in this program are truly limitless. So here's what you do. You're going to click the button below the webinar box to find out more about the program and get our special webinar fast action price. This fast action price is only available for a very short period of time. So if you are curious about this program, do not wait to sign up. There are, this is, as you can imagine, a very popular program, and I only have 10 spots that open up every 8 weeks at this point. And the program sells out generally months in advance. So if you are curious about this program, sign up now. Oh, and check your inbox for the link to the Saboteur Assessment to find out your top saboteurs. And you can respond to the email and ask me any questions that might have come up during this webinar. And if you want to share your Saboteur Assessment results with me, I would love to see them. I love to see people's results. So with that, I leave you to go explore the Midlife Mindset Makeover course and to sign up. And I really look forward to getting to know you, especially your sage. Have a good day. Bye.